Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
And good morning to you all. It's December 2, and it feels like it. Anyway, guys, I don't know. I've always been pretty straightforward with you about what's happening in the world and even in my own life, and I'm going to have to do that again now. I had a little bit of a rough weekend myself, and I wasn't really certain I'd be doing the show today, but here I am, and I hope I can get through it okay. I've had a lot of medical issues in the last year or so, and I've just exacerbated that by falling again. I'm struggling because I have one leg that has a knee that doesn't work, and then I've got the other leg with an ankle that doesn't work, and it makes me exceedingly unstable. So that, and I have very little ability to correct the slightest change that might happen. You bump into something. Most people don't fall. I fall. I can't sort of recover from any surprise while I'm tottering around. So it happened again on Thanksgiving night, and down I went. And this time I broke my hand. One hand is broken. The other hand is almost broken. They're both pretty much incapacitated at this point. So that's why I'm sitting here right now with one hand in a cast, the other wrapped in ice, and I can't. It's just sort of hard to, navigate, let alone get dressed. The one thing I've found over the course of all my sort of physical ails that I've had to deal with is every time something happens where you're denied the use of a part of your body that you assumed would always be available to you, you realize how grateful we should be when things are working properly. When I've really when I've been in a wheelchair or my legs, one leg or the other in casts, I've always thought, and I will never take for granted the ability to walk up a flight of stairs, run up a flight of stairs, as I watched people do it, and not even thinking for a moment that it was something wondrous. So now I am thinking about how we take so much of what our hands do for granted, so that it's amazing how helpless I am. But I'm a exceedingly independent person, and so it's I'm finding a way. Anyway, I'm really I'm hurting right now. I'm in some pain, and but I wanted to do this show because so much has happened. Well, it'll continue to be the case. So much has happened, and I understand people not wanting to even deal with it. I was at a dinner party this weekend, and in the course of the dinner party, one of the guests said, "Oh my God, he's nominated Kash Patel to head the FBI. And I'm thinking, oh, and the whole table, like goes berserk. Um, this, we've got to get better at, I suspect, not reacting like they want us to. I was thinking so much of what they do. Um, I mean, it's very real what they're doing in all of these appointments, very real, and the damage that will be done and the intent behind them of essentially undoing the checks and balances of our Constitution. All of that is obviously exceedingly important. However, um, we shouldn't let them, we shouldn't give them the pleasure of freaking out at every salvo. Because as we know with Trump and his people, the salvos are endless. And the intent is often to, as they put it, own the libs. They're just loving freaking us out. So, one way of at least uh, getting some sense of control back is not giving them the pleasure of reacting to strenuously, moaning, groaning, head in hands every time, every every time a new announcement comes out, because it's going to be constant. And I know a lot of you have tuned out. It isn't, and literally tuned out of this program as well, because I can see the numbers. It's not unlike MSNBC seeing the numbers, CNN. People are saying, I just can't, and I totally get it, totally get it. But somebody's got to mind the store. Somebody's got to pay attention, and I'm hoping that the people do who do um, again uh, pace themselves so that they aren't overreacting to the smaller stuff. And the smaller stuff is, even in any normal time, would be huge. But now, because all things are relative, it's the smaller stuff. It is really stunning, the people he is putting in positions of power. It is stunning and exceedingly difficult not to react in understandable horror. Uh, and looking to the Republicans in the Senate to exercise their constitutionally given powers to be a check is probably, a hope that is not going to be uh, realized very often. I mean, Matt Gaetz, that's the setting the bar about as low as you can, and he's the only one that's gone down. But we'll see. We'll see. It truly is incredible. The one thing I was thinking though is we can all feel as we see these people who are being elevated to such important positions, any sense that we might have had that one needed a certain level of experience or a certain resume, qualifications, stuff like that, character, to ever dream of being put in a position of such incredible responsibility. Well, that's, we've been shown that's not true. I mean, my God, my God. You have to wonder if any of these people that are finding themselves in these positions are suffering even the slightest bit of what, we call imposter syndrome. Do you think for a minute that any of them, I'm betting they are. I mean, in the quiet of their whatever, a few of them that aren't totally deranged, are thinking, geez, like the poor county sheriff who's, I mean, who might be a wonderful county sheriff. I'm not seeing anything terrible about this person. He's been a county sheriff down there in Tampa for a long, long time. Um, but now he's been tapped to head the DEA, which is not the same in any way as being a county sheriff. It's dealing on a global scale. It's dealing with stopping the flow of fentanyl, which means you're dealing with the Chinese. There's a State Department aspect to it. There's a oh my God, and not to mention, of course, the fact that you're running an agency that is mammoth, whatever. I'm thinking this guy might be having. I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's having some quiet moments when he's by himself where he's saying, "Geez, God," where he's praying, "God, help me." Oh, and speaking of God help me, this one really tickled me. And maybe you've seen it, but Trump's pick for Surgeon General, a woman named Jeanette Neshwat. I don't, as usual, know how to pronounce it. Um, she is, this will shock you, a Fox News contributor, and she's written a book about the healing power of prayer. That's your Surgeon General. So the Surgeon General will be, sending us thoughts and prayers, I guess, is what that office will be doing. My God, you cannot make it up. That is a new title. We're going with it. Lynn Cullen Live, you can't make it up. And then did you see you must have seen, how silly of me. Our Secretary of Defense designate, another Fox News, not only contributor, well, he was a contributor until he started stooping one of the executive producers over at Fox, and all of a sudden he became a weekend anchor. So that was something that I did not know. So that is Hegseth, who slept his way into an anchor position. I've known and certainly heard of, because this is par for the course, of women in television who have been elevated from the reporting staff to anchor, being accused of sleeping their way to the top desk. But this is the first time I heard of a guy doing it. So, yeah, he began while married to his, I think, second wife. This guy's been married so many times. I think he's more marriages than Trump, or the same. No, more, I believe. Um, he started having an affair with the executive producer at Fox News, and lo and behold, shortly after, he began messing around with her. He became the weekend anchor of Fox and Friends, which is the position he was in until Trump tapped him to head the Defense Department. But have you have seen the email that his mother sent him? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. I cannot imagine receiving an email like this from a parent. I mean, it would be devastating. And this happened during his, I think, second divorce, when he was screwing the executive producer and getting divorced from his wife Samantha, who he had 3 children with in 5 years. Um, this guy seems to go on the 5-year plan. I don't think he stayed with any of these women for more than 5 years. You know, it used to be, well, there was a old movie called The 7-Year Itch. It used to be this sense of 7 years being the time when, men would begin to stray. Uh, but his mom wrote this during the divorce, when she took the side not of her son, but of his wife and the mother of her grandchildren, who she clearly loved, the wife, and thought the world of. And I must, to be perfectly, actually maintain my journalistic cred, I must say that when the mother was told that the New York Times had the email and was going to publish it, she said, "Well, I apologized to him for that immediately. I did it in a moment of, blah, blah, blah." And she disavowed it. But when the Times said, "Well, can you show us the email, the other email you sent?" and she didn't come up with it. Um, but she's now, defending her son. But but she said, I'm not going to read it all. Just a little. She wrote, "Son, comma, I have tried to keep quiet about your character and behavior, but I cannot stay silent. As your mother, I must, and as a woman, I feel I must speak out. You are an abuser of women. That is the ugly truth. And I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that." So she wrote this 6 years ago, but she's proud of him now because he's been nominated to be the Secretary of Defense. Um, hey, by the way, I believe he married after he divorced Samantha, the second wife. He did marry the executive producer. And in fact, he's already had a baby with her. Boy, these guys. Jesus. Um, and he had a baby with her before he married her. And it was, I believe, obviously the reason that Samantha filed for divorce, that he had a baby with his boss. Yes, it says right here he married her, Ms. Roche, in 2019 at a ceremony at Trump National Golf Club. So, there you have it. Incredible. Fine people. Only the best. Only the best. Oh, and Robert, if you remove yourself from the implications of these people having such power and control, it's like I mean, it is. You can laugh in a dark humor kind of a way, but when you're being serious, it's not laughable, obviously. But this sort of took my breath away. I got this in the Week magazine. It said Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as we know, Trump's picked to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services, told a podcaster that quote, he did very, very poorly in school until I started doing narcotics. Whoa. Now that struck me as what? So he says when he started doing narcotics, he all of a sudden started doing well in school. He said, suddenly I could sit still and I could read and I could concentrate. So there is our potentially soon to be Secretary of Health, uh, you know, showing the students of America by example that if they want to get better grades, they might consider doing heroin. And also speaking of Bobby, oh dear. Um, the New York Times also today has a piece about some of the stuff he's done overseas in his capacity as a Kennedy with some sense of nobility, thus he gets listened to. And because he headed an organization that sounded like it was about health, and because he had a slight tenure as an environmental attorney who actually did some good work. But boy, this piece, I some of this I've been aware of, but talks about some of the impact that he has had in other countries, and in some cases, well, in many of these cases, he leaves behind him dead people. He he kills people with his genius. The one that I had heard of, and perhaps you have, because the Samoans are trying mightily to get people's attention as to what he did do in Samoa. Uh, Samoa had it happened in 2009, about the same time Hegseth is stooping his boss, uh, RFK Jr. is heading off to Samoa to suggest that they stop vaccinating their children against the measles. And the reason he did this is because there had been a public health scandal and tragedy there. A nurse had mistakenly mixed the measles vaccine with a muscle relaxant, wonderful, and had dispensed it to 2 infants, both of whom died. He grabbed on this to, get on his high horse about vaccines being deadly. Never mind the part about the nurse mixed the vaccine with a muscle relaxant. The measles vaccine has been used all over the world since for 60 years, and has never been considered anything other than safe and effective. But Bobby went off to Samoa and got a lot of coverage because he's Bobby Kennedy, and he told Samoans, do not give your children this vaccine that's going to kill them. He even went so far as to suggest that it could be that they, whoever they are, the deep state, is shipping lower quality vaccine to the Samoans than those vaccines that are sent to the richer countries. And he was listened to. The Samoan Director General of Health said with that last name and his stature attached to it, people listened. And just a month after he left, a measles outbreak began in Samoa. 83 people died, most of them children. And in a nation of just 200,000 people, that was an horrific death toll. So Bobby Kennedy came. Bobby Kennedy dispensed his knowledge about vaccines and suggested that they not be used. He left, and in his wake, 83 people dead. Kennedy never took any responsibility. He said it had been a mild outbreak, had no connection to anything I had done or said, and it didn't end, this measles outbreak, until 95% of the Samoan population got themselves vaccinated. Herd immunity. So, yeah, on and on and on and on. He has, in Africa, he has undermined the sex education campaigns that are intended to stem mostly the spread of AIDS in Africa. He has suggested that the World Health Organization is some sinister outfit trying to steal the sovereignty of the African nations. He has aligned himself, financed, or promoted people who claim that cell phone towers cause cancer, that homosexuality and contraceptive educations are part of a racist global conspiracy to reduce African fertility. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will be probably your next Secretary of Health and Human Services. So, between his wonderful advice And the Surgeon General just telling us to pray. Well, I agree with the Surgeon General there. We damn well better start praying. Uneffin believable. Excuse me while I wet my whistle. Oh, sorry, made me jump. Something, just because I see it here, I'll throw it in. If you're eating, you might want to stop right now. This also from the week. Uh, Pizza Hut in China. Pizza Hut, China, debuted a limited pizza pie last week. And I'm not going to give you the whole thing because it is too horrific. I'll just give you the first sentence of the ingredients. It's a thick crust pie topped with a deep fried bullfrog. Mm. Just saying. Hey, how about them Steelers? What a game, huh? Jesus. Just when I said to my friends, well, it looks like we can finally start to relax. Damn. That's always fun, games where there's so much, so much scoring. It is fun. But, and it's especially fun if you end up, winning. I haven't said anything about Joe Biden's pardoning of his son, Hunter, but I shall now. And when I heard of it, I have to say my reaction was good. Uh, go for it. And when you see I saw it, in the Atlantic, a guy I usually wrote a piece, something about the unconscionable outrage of Biden's pardon of his son, Hunter. Well, whatever. When it comes to unconscionable, the things you can put down in Joe Biden's column I are minuscule in comparison to, of course, the guy who is going to be coming in yet again to the presidency. And the kind of outrage that, gets dumped on him. But he said he would never pardon. Yeah, like Donald Trump says things and then does the opposite. And where is the outrage? Where is it? There's an inability to keep up with the potential outrage there. So I'm just saying, hey, goose gander, okay? What the hell? And if this poor man, this old man, who endured so much crap, gets to, on his way out, let his one surviving son off the hook, go for it. They used Hunter. Hunter Biden never would have faced the legal jeopardy he did if he had been anything other than the president's son. We know that. So I'm happy. Good God. I mean, look at it. Doesn't matter. I'm not even going to argue it. I'm not arguing it. If it's a gift, I would happily give to Joe Biden and to his son and to his family. And I've never been able to understand, and I'm in awe of the fact that somebody who struggled so with addiction, serious addiction, put under the pressure that he was by Republicans who were trying to make him relapse. Because if you're an addict, one of the things you obviously do to give yourself some relief when you're stressed is to turn to that false god to which you're addicted. And I have little doubt that that is what they were trying to do, is take him out, force him down, finish him off. And that this troubled man stood up to it. He's more than served his time as far as I'm concerned. And Rust Belt says, yeah, Biden's son getting a pardon is making MAGA really pissed off. That alone makes it worth it. There you go. That's, owning MAGA. They like doing things that piss us off. Well, sit on it. I don't give a damn. But of course, it's our side too. All our, the liberal types, because this is just, we don't do that. We, the decorous Democrats. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad for him. I'm glad for his son. And screw the others. How dare they? Like he's some kind of dangerous criminal. He was a danger to nobody but himself and his own family. And he's clearly much loved by that family. Makes me happy if, in fact, they're freaking out on the right. Good, good. Barbara says the Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year. Ha! Brain rot. Why is that I don't know why it is. I mean, it's a perfect description of obviously an affliction that could be applied to the incoming administration as a whole and individually. Brain rot. Oh, Lord, guys. I'm starting to sigh a lot, aren't I? Hey, hey. Oh, so in regard to Patel, you know what? Even I saw that even Trump has said he's crazy. Patel. I mean, he's off. Uh, a Trump advisor said that Trump said this about Patel. A lot of people say he's crazy. I think he's crazy. No, I think he's kind of crazy. But sometimes you need a little crazy. Okay, so that's Trump. Like he cares, crazy. The guy, is absolutely, ass kisser from, from the heavens. So yeah, a lot of people say he's crazy. I think he's a little crazy. I mean, Bill Barr, when he was the Attorney General under Trump, and Trump tried to put Patel in as deputy director of the FBI, Barr went ballistic and said, "Over my dead body." And again, we've been told time and time again there will be no, like Bill Barr was somebody we should now wistfully remember. There will be no Bill Barrs holding him back. Yeah, Barr wrote of Patel, he has virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency. The very idea of moving Patel into a role like this shows a shocking detachment from reality. Oh, well, if you lose the word shocking, I'll agree, because how you could be shocked by anything Trump does is beyond me. And his detachment from reality is well known. Okay, we got oops, don't do that, don't do that. Sorry, my hand is so screwed up, I'm having trouble with the mouse. Hang on. Caller. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, you know what I say? I wish Biden would pardon everybody that's connected that he's going to go after, and their cousins and their, everybody. Just pardon the whole damn Democratic, everybody. Just to piss the hell out of the damn. They just, they're such hypocrites. I don't know.
I know.
You know.
I don't know if you can preemptively pardon like that. Like if they haven't yet come after you. I don't know.
I want to see him pardon himself. I really want. That's going to be a legal challenge. You guarantee that. He's not going to pardon himself like he said. I don't think he can. It doesn't say he can, but it doesn't say he can either.
What?
We'll see.
What are you saying?
Trump, if he's going to pardon himself.
Oh.
It doesn't say you can.
It doesn't matter. He's just going to drop all the Justice Department will drop all the charges against him. There won't be a case. And he can't in the state case. That's true. He cannot.
Shame on the United States. Shame on the United States. That's what I say. That's just shame that we're allowed this man that even got this far to be president that has convicted.
I agree. Of course.
It's a tarnish that will never live down. We're just going to go down the scale of how we are. Third world country. I mean, come on. That's and the media is acting like it's all normal. Oh well, we're going to talk about how things are going to go.
I know. God help us.
Can you do it?
That's why I think the Surgeon General choice. I think the Surgeon General choice. The more I think of it, is really a good choice, because all we got, we're just going to have to pray.
Yep, that's about it.
Okay, hang in there.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yep, hang tight. Huh?
Yeah. Bye. What we gonna do? I don't know. Oh, jeez. Oh, and there was a New Yorker article that I hope I'm still here. I'm getting one of those messages that YouTube is not happy with the input it's getting. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the New Yorker had a piece which I had difficulty accessing, but they did a piece about this jerk Hegseth, and I just the promo for it says, a whistleblower report and other documents suggest that Trump's nominee to run the Pentagon was forced out of previous leadership positions for financial mismanagement, sexist behavior, and being repeatedly intoxicated on the job. Wow. There you go. I'll tell you, this Hegseth is really a piece of work. Incredible. Now, one of the things, that Patel, who's going to be our J. Edgar Hoover, if Trump has his way, has flat out said that he's going to come in and he's going to take out the FBI. He's going to, Elliot Ness is spinning in his grave. He fully intends to destroy it, dismantle it. And hold on to any power that it provides to hound Trump's political enemies. And Patel actually has a list of people, and he has specifically talked about going after journalists. Never mind that thing called the First Amendment. He's going to go after journalists. So he says. And I just want to say that if now is not the time for journalists to show courage, I do not know what time it could possibly be. And I want to laud the editor at large of The Week magazine, whose name is William Falk, because he wrote, and he has an editor's letter in every issue, although sometimes it's written by another executive, but he wrote it in this week's issue. And I love it because it's a takedown. Hang on. Are you guys hearing me? I guess. I can sort of see, I think. Oh, wait, hang on just for a second, Molly. Barbara also writes, Representative Jasmine Crockett said, "Way to go, Joe. Let me be the first one to congratulate the president for deciding to do this. We know that we have a convicted felon about to enter the White House." Yes. So, Falks wrote a open letter to the president. Thank you, guys. You're saying you're hearing me. Good. I needed to hear that. Falk wrote an open letter to the president, and it's wonderfully sarcastic, and it's a middle finger to the president, to Patel, to all of them, essentially, saying, "Yeah, come and get me, sons of bitches," and that we need more of this. I'm not going to read it all, but here's part of it. He says, an open letter to President-elect Trump. Now that you will soon assume the awesome powers of the presidency, I'd like to join Jeff Bezos in sending my big congratulations. There's a hit at another media figure on your crushing victory over the enemy within. Please let me echo Joe and Mika in offering to turn the page and reestablish a thoughtful, heartfelt dialogue with you, dear leader. Toward that end, I would like to offer my abject apologies for describing you in this space over the years as a demagogue, a would-be autocrat, a white supremacist, misogynist, and narcissist. Ha! Just a bit of colorful hyperbole. Like J.D. Vance describing you, as a moral disaster and America's Hitler. No hard feelings, right? I would also like to express regret for the intemperate cover illustrations in this magazine that have depicted you as a human wrecking ball, a mob boss, an arsonist, incinerating our Constitution, an insurrectionist, and a subservient stooge of Vladimir Putin. This, I now see, was treason. Indeed, blasphemy. What were we thinking? We just did not realize that your bold new vision for removing constitutional obstacles enjoyed such popular and apparently divine support. Nor did we understand that your admiration for Putin, Kim Jong un, and Viktor Orban would not only promote world peace, it would inspire needed reforms of our own unruly democracy. I mean, republic. Let me congratulate you for ensuring that both Congress and the Supreme Court will not become impediments to your bold, decisive leadership. And let me applaud the court for declaring you immune to any additional prosecution, no matter what you do in coming years. Go for it. Now, that's a guy who's not doing what Joe and Mika did, not doing what Bezos did, what all of them are doing, what Zuckerberg was bowing and scraping this weekend. All these people with extraordinary power immediately capitulating. And this is how autocrats take a country. This is how we're seeing it play out. And if we don't acknowledge the ones who refuse, who do the opposite, like this guy, William Falk, at the Week, and we need to see more of people like him who flat out stand up, defy and taunt and say, come and get me. We're going to have to start, separating people. And unfortunately, we've already learned in this Trumpian era that courage and standing up to bullies is not in great supply. Not in great supply in the places where you need it most. In Congress, in leadership in media, in high places in the corporate world, places where people already have more power than the average person and still capitulate. It's something, isn't it? Really something. Let's see. With what I have, I'm thinking in terms of time left. Oh, I'll share this with you just because it seems funny. It's not, but it seems more lighthearted, but it's not because it's really about climate change. But Denmark, the country, its government has instituted a tax on cows' farts, sheep burps. It's the fart and burp tax. And actually, this kind of thing has been tried before in other countries, and none have pulled it off. But the Danes done did it. The Danish Parliament actually passed this thing. I think it was New Zealand or Australia that tried in the past. New Zealand had tried, but no, didn't go. And I'm sure you know that methane, which is what is released in part when animals including us, fart, belch, is a huge contributor, actually, to global warming. Globally, in fact, it is agriculture, the food system, and animal husbandry that accounts for a fourth of greenhouse gases. So, when we think of greenhouse gases, you think, oh, fossil fuels are, cars, jets, blah, 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 blah. Don't let the cows off the hook. I'm just saying. There's something like 5 times more cows than humans in Denmark. And it's not like you're taxing the cow. But what they're doing, what they're going to do, and I mean, this is just part of a much larger bill, but of course, the idea that farts and belching is involved is well, it media and anybody looking for some attention just can't look away. So that gets talked about, not the other parts of the bill. But the way it'll work, and it's interesting. But so starting in 5 years, farmers, the tax will fall on farmers. Farmers will be charged for every ton of carbon dioxide equivalent that their operation produces. Now, obviously, they've got some kind of a formula for determining that, I guess, given how many animals they have or whatever. And the tax is just about $43 for every ton, but it goes up to like $100 5 years then, so it's going to keep on going up. And all of this is to act as an incentive to the farmers to ameliorate the belching and farting that their animals are doing. And apparently there are ways to do that. And it has to do with what they're taking in. So while you cannot eliminate flatulence, you can reduce it by using certain food additives and things like that. So just, can you imagine something like that passing here? Yeah, I don't think so. But I appreciate these smaller countries that have the ability to do it. It's a coalition government, and apparently this didn't have a lot of, even the agriculture lobby was against it, but it's not that onerous in terms of, I guess, the tax burden. And it does what legislation is often supposed to do, which is sort of incentivize better behavior, creating better outcomes. Carrots and sticks, ladies and gents. Okay, so that's it. I forgot to regale you about my 6 hours in the ER on Friday. Oh my God, what a cacophony and zoo of human behavior. And you're just lying there and taking it all in and listening to other people's woes and thinking, man, I just got a mucked up hands here. Look at these. Oh man, this woman got hit by a car. Actually, she jumped in front of the car. The car was trying to hit her sister's car. She said, I tried to stop it. And it turns out, so she and I both went into X-ray at about the same time. And she got hit by a car because they thought that she'd broken her leg. Her leg was not broken. She walked out of there. I'm the one that had the break. Figures. Anyway, it was, I guess, on some level interesting. On the other level, just mindlessly boring and endless. But My hat's off to people who do that for a living, tend to people in distress. I can't imagine how difficult it is. Anyway, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow, Susan in tow, thank God. Spell me a little bit, and I'm off to a hand surgeon. I'll talk at you, oh no, tomorrow. Oh yeah, I got it. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself there. That was me. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.